morning, 7th graders. I had an emergency pop up this morning and I can't be at school until 12 o'clock, but I wanted to quickly go over the experimental proposal form to let you know how to complete this. This technically was homework. You were supposed to do the first 2 pages, part 1, 2, and 3 at home, but I'm giving you class time today and use of the computers to really make sure you do a good job. You can move on to part 4 and 5 today if you have time. Whatever you complete is due at the end of the period. Here we go. So at the top, you're obviously going to write your name, your general subject or topic. If you're doing something with plants, then you're going to put plants or botany. If you're doing something with chemicals, mixing chemicals, you would put chemical reactions. If it's with magnets, magnetism. So it's just a general science topic that you're discovering. For the experimental question, how does blank affect blank? That first blank should be your independent variable. All right. And then affects blank. This is how you're going to measure it. So for instance, for our plant project, how does salt water affect plant growth? You're then going to state the independent variable. So the same thing you wrote there, you'll put right there in detail. Are you sure you can manipulate or change this independent variable? If I couldn't add salt water, then I would say no. But clearly I can add salt water, so I'm going to say yes. In your experiment, this is how you tell if it's a demonstration or an actual science fair project. You have to change something and see how it affects the project. If you don't have anything you're changing and you circle no, you're going to have to change your topic because you do not have a science fair project. You have a demonstration. Then your dependent variable, again, which you wrote here, will simply go down there. It says, explain how you will measure this. So for the salt water on plant growth, I will say I will use a metric ruler to measure in centimeters the height of the plant every day for 2 weeks. Constant variables. You do not have to have 8 constant variables, but constant variables are things that should stay the same. So examples of that would be in the plant project would be the same soil or the same type of soil, the same amount of water, same type of plants, same amount of sunlight, same amount of love. Just kidding, that was a joke. But as many things that you're going to keep the same. Is it possible for you to keep these things constant? You want to be able to say yes. If you say no, then that means you need to go back and think again. Your control group. What will be your comparison group? So for the effects of salt water on plants, that would be the plants without salt. Okay, so group of plants without salt. All right, materials that may be difficult to obtain or that you need help getting. So if you can get all your materials, most of you will be able to, you're going to just put NA. Like if you and your parents can help get all the materials, great. Now let's just say you need something like you don't have a thermometer. Then you'd write that down. Or if there's something that you asked your parents for and they said they can't help you, you write it here and I will try to help you find it. You can also attach a material list separate if you need to. This is where you write any questions that you're having about your project. Have you ever completed a science fair project before? Yes or no? If yes, explain some of the ones that you've done. If you're at school right now and your parent didn't sign this, you will have them sign this later. I still want you to turn it in today, okay? I'll read over it, give it back to you. You can always get your parent to sign it later. All right, that was part 1. Part 2, at the top, again, you're gonna write your name. You're gonna copy that experimental question from the front, which was here. The experimental question, how does salt water affect plant growth? You would copy that over to here. You would then write down your independent variable again, your dependent variable. It says conduct some background research on your topic. So you're going to be making a hypothesis, which is an educated guess. In order to make an educated guess, you actually have to get educated. So I'd like you to do some background information. Research, if this was your project, you'd research salt and the effects of salt on plants. What do you think should happen if you put salt water on plants? Then you're going to make a hypothesis. If I put salt water on plants, then the plants with salt water will not grow because salt will dehydrate, which means suck the water out the cells. Okay, so that would be an example. References. So if you use Science Buddies, which we all started there, and you found a project on there, you put sciencebuddies.org, you circle that it's a website, you write the date that you last went there. So let's say you went there today, you put today's date. The author, so read all the way to the bottom and see if you can find the author. If not, you're going to simply, if they don't say an actual person, then you're going to just write Science Buddies again. Then you need to say, why was this useful? Did you get the topic from there? Did you get the variables from there? Did you get ideas? You want to then research another site. It could be a book, it could be a magazine, it could be another website, but you want to research another resource or reference. This was supposed to be homework. You have time to work on that. That is due before you leave class today. Those of you who already did your homework, you're starting on part 4, which is, read this, but it says write out your material list, and you want to do a step-by-step procedure. Remember our Drops in a Penny Lab. You need to be very specific for this procedure. If you would rather type your materials in procedure and then attach it, you can. Remember, if you copy and paste procedures from somewhere, you have to cite your source. Otherwise, that's plagiarism, okay? You can't just copy and paste the procedure and material list without citing your source. And then last but not least, those of you who get a lot done today, you will move on to part 5, which is to create a data table to organize your data. It's empty. There will be no data in it because we haven't started an experiment, but it will be an empty data table. All right, good luck. Make me proud.